Morning, everybody. No, for people who know me, them know so that can't work. So let's try that again. Alright? Morning, people. Morning. Sure. All right. Okay, for those of you who do not know me, I tell people there are very few things that are important. One, I was born in Jamaica. Two, my mother and father decided to call me Michael. And three, I went to St. George's College. That's all. That's all you need to know. Yes? And I say quite a few George's man, so maximum respect. Yes? Anybody went to KC? No. JC. No KC people? GSC people there? Yeah. Who? Just one? You one? And our next one? Alright, well, can't hold anything against it. We love them the same way. Wrong color blue, but it's alright.
What about the girls' school?
Oh, Jesus. You know, you understand, I get myself in a trouble. Well, to all of you who went to schools in Jamaica, good morning. And to those who went to schools in other places, good morning. You see, I tried. We are going to begin our service for our sister Doreen. But just before we begin, one public service announcement. For those of us who have things that ring and beep and whistle and ding and thing, if you don't mind, if you could just put them in the silent or preferably the off position, because if anybody has any emergency right now, the best number to call is not yours. Okay? How is that? Yes. So if you don't mind, because when phones and things go off during services, it does tend to be a little jarring. All right, so we thank you for that. We will proceed as is in the program. I tell people I am not an MC, so I don't say next. So we just follow as is. Okay? We will have the tributes in the beginning, and then we will have our opening song. We'll receive our sister and process in with her remains, and then we go along and just ask God to be with her, bless her, and the family. Okay? So we good with that? Yes. Good. So, as we begin, we just ask Carlene to come forward.
The birth of her granddaughter Avery in 2000 coincided with her retirement from Immaculate, and she had time to focus on her personal interests. Her second grandchild, Matthew, was born in 2005, and she subsequently traveled more to spend time with me in Toronto. When she visited me in Toronto for the first time since 1963, she insisted that she needed to go back to her old stomping ground. So we went downtown to Ainsley Hall and to look around, and then she would give me stories of what happened at that time when she was there. And in particular, she had, a good memory of the winter. The winter's cold and snow, which I'm not sure that she actually liked. She was also an informal historian in practice. She was always interested in current affairs and could make connections with the historical past that she had a vast knowledge of, recognizing that she was a living witness to what would eventually be history. She never hesitated to express her opinion on things that were happening anywhere in the world, including what she would see as she passed on the people on the street. Although she was quiet and reserved, sometimes she just could not hold back from passing with people. Although she would never share about her comments with those that she was looking at. Her life, however, significantly changed in 2019 when her husband, Ernest, partner for 56 years, passed away after a brief illness. Then COVID hit, and that limited her ability to move around and interact with people. But she was able to overcome her fear of technology and became a competent YouTube user to watch her weekly mass. And then she also learned to use WhatsApp for communication. Yeah. So those were really huge. When travel resumed to normalcy, she started to spend more time away. And she came here to Florida on annual long summer visits. Just last year, she semi-migrated, and she spent much of her time reading, in devotion, watching her favorite game shows on TV. And I think her favorite pastime was actually keeping in touch with family and friends all over the world. Mom was a kind and gentle person of deep faith.
Don't do it. Basis should get her readings, send her on WhatsApp, and no matter what, she would do morning devotion without fail every day. At night, she'd watch her game show, Steve Harvey in particular, Mr. Loudmouth we call him. When the TV turns off, Mommy sits at the side of the bed, takes up her tablet, and she goes to her devotion, does her nightly devotion every night without fail. So for her, that example, the standard is here. And it's difficult to get to that standard because we all slip at times. But she was teaching me that this is what you do. You give God the blessing every morning. Before you go to bed, give God the blessing. And give God the blessing all the time, including these difficult times that I face. And because of that teaching, even though I break up a little bit and fighting the words now, it helps to navigate these situations specifically. So Mom, thank you for that example. Thank you. So, on a lighter thing now, Cheryl mentioned, they leave it up. Now, all of us in here as Jamaicans have heard the term, the Lord will provide. And in my young adult years, any problem, any situation, I thought to my mother about, that is her go-to. The Lord will provide. It didn't matter what the situation is, that's the solution. Didn't understand it at the time, but as I mature and try to follow that path, it makes more sense. The other thing she says, let go, let God. We all know this. And then the other one, leave all things up to Him, right? So I would ask the question in here, how many of us actually do that? Just walk in that faith like my mom did. Right? I know that sometimes I think I can do everything myself. It's only natural, we're human. But in the back of my mind, those words always ring true. Right? Leave it up. So I see a friend, a colleague Pat here. She didn't know that she's in this little memo here, and I didn't know that she was going to be here. but she will understand. Mom got first-hand look at some of the stress that is involved in my type of job. She would hear me and Pat on the phone, and we're discussing, whether there's a borrowing base or there's a problem in the, somebody did some stupidity, whatever it is, we'd be discussing it. And all of a sudden, I hear from the room, "Leave it up." I said, "Wait, hold on." Pat's response, she'd be like, "Hello, Pat." Pat would be, "Hello, Mommy." All right, so a lot of the time I forgot that Mommy had this newly found, super hearing. She got some hearing aids, and she could literally hear a pin drop, literally. So all of this time, when she's there, I think she's sleeping, we're stressing over this work timeline, whatever it is, I just hear that, "Leave it up." And there's, a reminder that yes, you have stress in the world, but you walk in faith and you move forward. Thank you, Mom. So, last thing, for those who know her, right, she has had trigeminal neuralgia for years. That is a nerve disorder that wreaks havoc on the right side of her face. So you add all the other little things, little ailment here, little ailment there. She was taking a lot of pills in the morning, a lot of pills in the evening. But regardless, I go back to what I said before, she did her morning devotion every day, no matter what. Nightly devotion every day. That's perseverance. The other last thing, all right, so I have two last things. All right, so when I think of Mom and the pain that would just put her down, there are times where in her social group, somebody just didn't communicate with her for a couple of days, and Mom would be like, "I wonder what happened to so-and-so. Is she okay? Is she okay?" She wouldn't stop until she figured out what was going on. And she's in pain. She would always reach out to Aunt Audrey. Aunt Audrey has the same type of issue, pain that's not manageable. They would sit there, Mom would be in pain, discuss with Aunt Audrey, and they would share. So the lesson and the teaching from, from that interaction, it is Mom's continuing commitment to others over herself. Again, bar high is way up here. And sometimes I just can't get up there. But the part is there and the teaching is there. And I thank my mother for that. So, I think I reached the last part. Right? It has taken a little longer, right? Everybody in here would have some sort of image, some sort of idea as to what my mom was. And in the presentation, all we're trying to do is confirm the understanding that you would have of my mom, and probably add a little, one or two things that you probably didn't know. So, in wrapping up, Mom passed away on July 14, 2024, 7:17 p.m. after a brief period of hospitalization, surrounded by
Amen.